Are you interested in investing in a vacation rental or short-term rental, but you don't know how to make sure you're buying a good deal? I used to worry about that too until I bought my first vacation rental and learned how to analyze vacation rental deals. They are different in a lot of ways from long-term rentals. So in this video, I'm going to show you what things you need to look out for when analyzing a short-term rental investment. If you're new to the channel, I'm Ariane and I retired at 27 with investment income, and I made this channel to help good people like you reach financial freedom faster. The first thing we'll talk about is how to do your preliminary analysis when you're looking at a vacation rental. Second, we're going to talk about which professionals you need to consult to verify your preliminary analysis. And then we're going to look at some more tips like what kind of loans you can use and so much more. So stay tuned till the end. One of the first things you need to do when you're looking at a short-term rental or vacation rental market is to make sure that the area you're looking at buying in allows short-term rentals. A good realtor can help you with this, so make sure you find a good realtor who knows about short-term rentals in your market. There are a lot of nuances, like sometimes certain cities allow them, sometimes north of a road will allow them, south of a road will not allow them. There's also some HOAs or some condominium associations that don't allow short-term rentals. So you want to make sure that your realtor tells you all about these and only lets you look at properties that do allow short-term rentals. So you want to focus your attention on those properties. Okay, so now we're going to do an analysis together. I'm going to pull up a potential vacation rental property that I'm looking at in Zillow. So here is that Zillow listing. Here's the address, here's the asking price, and then I'm going to show you a tool that I use that makes all of this analysis easier. So it's this one, it's my short-term rental property calculator. This actually started as a long-term rental property calculator, but we can use it as a short-term rental calculator as well. You can get a copy of this on wealthgym.com/rental calculator. I'll link that in the description as well. So get your copy and follow along with me. So now that we have the property and our rental calculator, we're going to go through the steps to analyze this deal. So here are the main steps. We're going to go through the loan details and the asking price, the projected income, the projected expenses, the projected renovation needed, and what offer price makes sense to meet your target returns. So first, we're going to go through the loan details and the asking price. So we're going to click this little calculator tab, and then we'll input. So all of these are pre-populated with some old rental property numbers, right? So we're going to actually change this. And there, I have a whole video just going over the different parts of the calculator, so watch that in the description below. But right now, just follow along with me in this particular property. So we're going to get the asking price, which is $620,000, put that in here. Now, because this is a townhome and not a condo, I can actually use a pretty cool loan, which will allow me to just put 10% down on this property, because I can call this a second home, right? So I live a certain amount away from this property, a certain distance away from this property, and I can use it as my second home, and I just need to stay there for about 14 days a year. So I get a free vacation out of it, but it also gives me the ability to only put 10% down on this property. So I'm going to put 10% down on the down payment. Now the interest rates are a lot higher right now, so I'm actually going to put 5% on the interest rate. We're going to look at the renovation costs later in a different section, but next we're going to look at the income. What is the projected income for this property? A good tool to use for that is airdna.co. We can actually just copy our address, and then we're going to paste it in here on the AirDNA rentalizer section, and it's going to give us our projection. Now it thought it's only 2 bedrooms, so we actually have to change that. So it's actually 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. It's a pretty big place, so you could probably get at least 12 people, probably sleep at least 12 people. And then now we see that we have a projected annual revenue. It's $102,000. So what we're gonna do now, so that's our annual projected gross income. We're gonna take that number, $102,000, and divide that by 12 to get the monthly projected income. So that's $8,500 monthly. We're gonna put $8,500 a month there. And that is our average monthly rent per unit. One thing we do need to do on this short-term rental version is put 0% in the vacancy. Because as you can see, the rentalizer is actually already calculating only a 71% occupancy rate. So we don't want to double up on having extra vacancy and already having the vacancy here. This vacancy rate is really targeted for a long-term rental use of this calculator. So for a short-term rental, we're going to put 0. We're going to keep filling in the rest of these expenses. That's the next section of the analysis. So we'll do the tax portion first. You can usually get the taxes from the Zillow listing as well. You click this price and tax history and scroll down, and it'll show you that the property taxes for 2020 was $32.71. I do want to budget higher than that because that was 2020. Looks like the 2021 numbers didn't come out yet. So I'll actually add an extra $1,000 to that. I'll budget for $4,300 a year, and I'll divide that by 12, and I have 358. So I'm going to put 358 in taxes. For vacation rentals here in this area in Florida, I usually will use the same number for taxes as the insurance number, because it usually does end up being close. Now later, you're actually gonna call your insurance agent and have them give you a quote for this. So you'll have an accurate number later, but we're doing this preliminary analysis, remember? So we'll do that. This also has HOA. Let's see what the HOA is. Looks like it's $275 a month. So we will put that in the other fixed expenses for $275 a month. Now the vacancy is going to be 0. The capital expenditures, 5%. This allows us to save up for any big ticket items that the property might need later, like a new roof or a new AC or new windows. We're also gonna leave this 5% maintenance in case the guests might damage some things or need a plumber to go there and repair any plumbing issues. Property management, this is set for 10% for a long-term rental management company, but for short-term rental management companies, they're usually around the 20% range. So you gotta make sure you change that. So now we have all the numbers correct here, right? Well, the preliminary numbers correct. Again, we're gonna check with our professionals to make sure that they actually are correct later, but first we're gonna do our preliminary analysis, and this is a good start for that. I do always look at this percentage number here in the total monthly operating expenses. You do want this to be between 35 and 50% of your projected income. So if this number is much less than 35%, I would worry a little bit because then your expenses might not be realistic. But it's within that range, so that should be pretty good to start. And then now we can see our returns. We are still missing one portion of this analysis, which is the renovation costs. And because this is a short-term rental, you actually have to look at what will I need to do to renovate this so people will rent it for that $8,500 a month or average $398 a day. And then you also want to look at what will I need to pay for the furniture. So in order to do that, we got to look at the listing pictures. Now it looks like this property is actually nicely renovated, and they also already have it furnished. So it doesn't look like we need to do much. Yeah, actually, it looks really nicely renovated. Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm gonna leave the $5,000 there because we might want to add or change some piece of furniture, but it looks nicely renovated and already is furnished for vacation rentals. The other thing I'm going to check is I'm going to see if they have a estimate of what they can rent it for. Sometimes they'll put it in the listing, so they don't, and that's okay. So we're pretty much done with our preliminary analysis, and now we can see what projected cash and cash return we're going to get. So for this property, it looks like we're going to net, after all the expenses and after all the debt payments, we're going to get about $2,000 a month in net cash flow to us. This is after we pay that 20% management fee. In a year, we're going to net 24 grand, which is a 30% cash on cash return, which is amazing. Now, one of the reasons that cash on cash return is high is because we're using a second home loan to do this. Remember, if we don't use a second home loan and we put 20% down, then that will be a little bit lower. It's going to be 19%. But let's just say we're still going to use a second home loan. So now we can have potentially 30% cash on cash return, which is amazing. And you can also look at the other ways you make money from investments. I actually have another video that just goes over this in depth, so watch that up here and in the description below. But as you can see real quick here, you make money 4 ways in real estate. You make it through cash flow, loan pay down, appreciation, and tax benefits. And here are some calculations of that, right? So number 1, you get 30% cash flow. Number 2, you get 10% on the loan pay down. You get 23% potentially on the appreciation, and 6% on the tax benefits. The tax benefits can change depending on your tax bracket and what you actually do with the tax benefits. So that will vary from person to person, but your potential total annual return is 70%. That is amazing. A 70% total annual return. So if I was you and I was looking for a property here in Panama City Beach, I would call your agent and make an offer right now, right? Because that is a phenomenal potential return. Now, after we do the preliminary analysis and call our agent and make sure they're submitting an offer for us right away, the next step is to get in touch with all of the professional people in your team to make sure that your projections are accurate. Right? Like the first step we did was we just got a potential projection from AirDNA. And really what AirDNA does is it gets all of the data it sees from Airbnb and HomeAway and all of the other booking sites, and it puts all of this data together, and that's how they come up with what they think you're going to get per night and how occupied you're going to be and your potential annual revenue. Now, sometimes it's not completely accurate because sometimes it'll pull data from a property that may not be exactly like yours. So you still want to call a short-term rental management company and ask them to give you a projection of what they think they can do if they manage your property in the next year, right? So what you can do is you can Google vacation rental management company in the area. In this case, Panama City Beach, Florida. And you'll be able to see all of the vacation rental management companies and all their reviews. So I suggest you call at least 5 of these vacation rental management companies and ask them to give you a projection of what they think they can get for this vacation rental if they manage it for you. Now, I wouldn't wait for them to respond to you before you make an offer. Make an offer right now. You're gonna have a whole inspection period that usually is at least 7 days, up to 15 days, to verify all the information you need. You can verify the projected rentals, or the projected rental income. You can verify the projected expenses. You can call your insurance agent to make sure the insurance code is correct. You can call your mortgage broker to make sure the interest rate is still going to be like that. You can call your contractor. This particular property didn't need a lot of work, but you can call your contractor and ask them if the little repairs you need to do is only going to cost $5,000. So you can do all of that verification. You can also verify the property management fees. You can do all of that verification from the time you're under contract to the time your inspection period ends. Because if you wait for the people to respond to you, this property is going to go under contract and you won't have a chance of even getting it under contract. So make that offer right now after you do this analysis. If you're local, you can tour the property first. If your realtor is there, they can FaceTime you if you're not local. But make sure you put that offer in because this looks like an amazing deal. 30% cash and cash return and a 70% total annual return on these projections. And remember, the other professionals you're going to need to verify all this information with is first your realtor. Try to find an investor-friendly realtor. Ideally, you want someone who also owns short-term rentals locally so they can give you a lot more insight about the ins and outs of the industry. Maybe they know who the good property management companies are. They already know the good insurance agents and mortgage brokers that know specifically about short-term rentals and the contractors as well. So make sure you have a good investor-friendly realtor. You're also going to need a good short-term rental property management company. You're going to need a good insurance agent, a good mortgage broker, and a good contractor. And if you have a good realtor, that actually is a good lead into all of those other professionals. So I cannot stress enough how important that is. Now, there are some other tips and tricks about short-term rentals that we can cover on another video, but one thing I do want to emphasize again is that second home loan. A lot of people don't even know about this. You can put just 10% down on a second home. I have a whole nother video that talks about that. Watch that here and in the description below. I also have other videos that goes through steps about buying rental properties, and I have a whole playlist of those, so check that out in the description. Watch those and learn more about real estate investing. If you like this video, consider clicking the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can see more videos about real estate investing later. If you know someone else who could use this information, please share this with them. And if you want more tips on real estate investing and financial freedom daily, I post daily videos on my Instagram page. Go to the Ariane Lemire. Feel free to join me there. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. Have an amazing day and I will see you at the next video.